Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Overtime. We're here with the Greensburg Show, and I'm joined in studio with Coach Troy Davis of the boys and girls cross country. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Good. Big meet coming up. Eagle Classic, correct?
Yes. We're going to Brown County on Saturday. They actually have 7 different races with over 70 high school teams there. So, yeah, we're really looking forward to another great weekend of competition.
Let's start out with the same way I started last week. Further in the season, injury report, how's everybody staying healthy?
At the moment, we had all 23 athletes practice and had a great workout today. So we've got a few people with the little dings, but nothing serious. So we're cross-training and working through some stuff. But right now, we are planning to race all 23 athletes on Saturday and looking forward to some fast times.
And we're joined by Greensburg football coach Isaac Sliger. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Just going through, talking about injury report. Everybody staying healthy?
Yeah, as of right now, for the most part, we've got a sophomore right now that's a little banged up. We're, kind of waiting to see what happens with the doctor. But, otherwise, it's just, we're starting to get into that, 30-40% of the year where we're starting to, have some little bangs and bruises that, we're trying to make sure that we stay on top of with ice baths and other recovery and everything else. But, so far right now, with the exception of a couple, we've actually, knock on wood, stayed pretty okay.
Yeah. Troy, we'll go back to you. Let's talk about some key runners from the last couple meets.
Sure. We'll start with the guys. It's a guy's first year in cross country, so that means all our meets, the guys run first this year, and next year we'll flip-flop with that. So, no. Top runner is senior Joe Hawkins. He had a really great meet over the weekend. He went 15:34, and he actually won the small school Division A race at Saraland over the weekend. So he ended up running about a 10 to 12 second PR and had a great race for us. Xavier Cassius was also a senior. He also PR'd, went 16:51, which moved him into top 25 all time in school history. So really excited for Xavier. He's had a great senior year so far. And then we have a junior, Quentin Walker. He went 17:06, and all 3 of those guys medaled for us in the small school division at Columbus over the weekend. So
let's go back to this Eagle Classic. We kind of were talking off air, the size of that. Can you just let everybody know the number of potential runners and schools and just how big that's going to be?
Yeah, sure. Well, at the Eagle Classics at Brown County, they actually have an elite race, which I didn't count the number. I think there's 10 of the top 25 teams in the boys and about 10 or 12 of the top 25 ranked teams in the girls there. They actually have a couple teams come up from Kentucky as well that are ranked. And then the teams that remain, so they'll take basically the top 20 teams there. And then the other 50 or so teams will be in what they call the single A or double A races this week. We're actually in the big school races. So last week we were racing single A. This week we raced double A. So we'll race against schools East Central, Lawrence Central, Columbus East. A lot of 3, 4, and 5A schools there, but we're competing against. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's some solid competition.
Yes.
Any thoughts in terms of runners being confident of any PRs or anybody really like that track? And the reason I ask is we know sectionals are going to be down at Brown County, so you're kind of going to get a taste of it a little early in the season.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man. We're at sectional preview, so we're going to go over there. Joe Hawkins actually qualified. He's going to run in the elite race, so he's looking for another fast time. He's within about 5 seconds of the school record, so he is chomping a bit, ready for that. So he's running really well for us right now. So he's running the elite race. We'll have 7 boys in the varsity and then a full reserve team as well. So we've got kids in 4 different races. On the girls' side, all 8 ladies will be running the varsity race. My daughter's coming off a win last weekend in the single A race at Columbus, so hopefully can get a good performance out of Eleanor. Lulu ran 2015 for us, moved into the top 15 in school history, and Elena Badel is our junior leader, so looking forward to seeing those top 3 race real well for us.
So let's hit on, you have the Nike one coming up, which is going to be, what is it, October?
It's October 3rd, yeah.
October 3rd, which is going to be bigger than the massive one you're running in this weekend.
Yes, so the Nike Twilight Classic, they actually bring in portable lights, and they run at night. I think Joe is running, I'd have to check the schedule, I think at 7:30 or 8 p.m. In later October, so it's going to be dark. They actually host a Nike meet there later, and a lot of teams from the Midwest. So we'll have teams from Missouri, Ohio, Illinois, Michigan. I haven't checked the count. I looked at the meet information earlier this week, and I think there's Like I said, 70, 80 schools there. It's huge. So they bring in lights. And again, Joe gets to run not only against some of the best athletes in the state, but also just in the Midwest. So another great opportunity to compete at a high level.
How are their times comparing right now to the competition for the Brown County, the Eagle Classic?
I'd say pretty comparable. There were 4 or 5 kids that broke the 15-minute barrier for 5K, which means they averaged running under 5 minutes per mile for over 3 miles. So it was the top 3 teams in the state were there this week. Bloomington North, Columbus North won. They dominated their home meet, and then also Noblesville. So those 3 teams are ranked 1, 2, 3 in the state, and they're also, I think, all 3 ranked nationally. So it was a great meet for us.
That's crazy. Is there now, obviously football and basketball, you have a little bit of that national competition when you get to the elite programs, IMG Academy and those things. I can't think of the school out of football or the football school out of Florida now, but is cross country have any of that? Is there a lot of national meets?
Yeah, they actually the 2 biggest meets prior to this with their national meets. There was Foot Locker for years. If you know the Foot Locker stores, they sponsored it. If you know much about Foot Locker stores these days, they're not very successful. So this will be the first year. I believe it's either New Balance or Brooks took over as the main sponsor, but there's also Nike National. So if you qualify at a regional meet, which is the meet you alluded to earlier, out of Terre Haute, if you run well there, they actually fly you and or your team, depending. There's a team component too. They will fly you out to Oregon, and I believe it's the weekend of Thanksgiving or the weekend after Thanksgiving. They'll have you out there, and they race in Oregon for the national championship.
Coach, another tough-fought battle last week at Connorsville. Or against Connorsville. Takeaways. We'll get your early takeaways before we dive in too much.
Yeah, obviously we had another hot start. We were able to score, for the 3rd straight game in our first opening drive, which is something that we've really tried to stress. We were able to respond again at the start of the second half with a great offensive drive to score. And then we got a couple really good stops for us defensively. Right before the half, we had a few drives that just kind of shot us in the foot with some mental mistakes. Second drive of the game, we were down inside the 10 on a 3rd and 1. I get a false start that pushes us back. We end up ultimately having to kick a field goal. We end up getting a false start on the first field goal attempt that we make, and then, we end up swinging the second one left. So that ultimately takes either 7 points or at least 3 points off the board for us from, a couple mental mistakes there, and then obviously a pick 6 right before the half. So we're just in a situation right now where, we can't afford with our margin of error to continue to put ourselves even further behind an 8 ball and shrink that margin. But still, all in all, we continue to fight through it till the very end. Game still kind of came down to 5 minutes to go in the 4th. 4th and 8 there from about the 20-yard line, and they run a wheel route that Flanagan goes up, makes a heck of a play. He bobbles the wheel initially up in the air when he high points it, but he comes down with it there at the 3, and they were able to punch it in to kind of put the exclamation mark on it. But we still drove down the field as time expired, got inside the 10 on it. So it's one of those things, again, right now we're just continuing to swing away at it. It's hard when you haven't done it before, as far as a locker room where we're trying to win for the first time, really. And when you look at over the last 3 years, this group hasn't done that, and that's okay. But, we're trying to figure that out together, and we're getting closer. The light's close. We just got to keep swinging away.
Yeah, I mean, and most people, they're football fans, but we know they look at score. Look at the final score more than the box score, the stats overall. So they don't see the improvement. They see the score, which is an improvement, right? You've 3 games so far, and you guys have battled all 3 games. Held the lead. It was 14-7, I think, the first halftime, the first game.
Yeah.
Again, we keep saying a lot of positives coming out of there. So what is, I guess, your response, to people who just see a score in terms of stats and improvements that most people don't look at?
Yeah, I think it's one thing. I agree 100% with what you said. I think pretty much everybody that has spoken about it or commented about it is very much in the know that, this is not the same program that what it was a year ago. Or even really as you continue to watch what it was even a few weeks ago. We've taken large steps every week. I think more than anything, it's just understanding what the process entails. It's hard, again, when you're a 15 to 18-year-old and you haven't done done something like that before, and you've got a weight that's kind of bearing over you like that. But it's one of those things that, my first advice would be show up and support our kids. It's something that our kids they continue to work their tails off for. But it's something that just in the overall attitude, I think, amongst the school itself when they're in the halls, when they're out in the community itself, and then obviously when they're out on the actual field, and that's not just our old guys, it's our young guys too. Our young guys picked up a really great win on Saturday against Connorsville with a 40-0 shutout, put them on a running clock, and we had 5 different guys that scored on Saturday morning. So it's coming together with that, and you're starting to see that piece by piece. But it's one of those things that it's just a process, and our kids understand that, and they're just continuing to grind away for it.
Yeah. Player highlights. Anybody you want to highlight specifically?
Yeah. I would say first off, from our running back room, obviously Austin Cruz has done a really nice job for us over the last 3 weeks, and Carson Kilgore has also done a really nice job. Our offensive line, against the last couple of weeks, we were just shy of our 200-yard mark the other week, which is kind of our baseline for what we really want out of it. But our guys up front, Austin Adams is our center, Cam Parkinson and Ashton Winchester at our guards. Logan Ortman's graded out as our best lineman for the last 2 weeks, done a really phenomenal job for us in his first year as a starter. And then Jeremiah Alexander and also Tyson Backover. And then our tight end room with Max Grimes and Jai Jackson. Those guys are young, but they've done a really, really good job for what we've asked them to do. And then defensively, I think Ethan Bishop's done a really nice job over the last 2 weeks in particular. Guys inside the box as well, up front. Tyson Backover, I just mentioned a little bit offensively, but he's been really somebody defensively who's helped us out a lot more, just as, kind of that role guy for us. Miles McKenzie had a really good night on Friday when it came to offensively. He had 5 receptions. It's one of those, they're starting to pick things up a little bit more as far as scheme-wise goes, but even more so just what we expect day in, day out as far as the process goes. So
yeah, and people that understand what it takes to, I don't like using the word rebuild, but to create a new narrative.
Yeah.
You mentioned the younger players stepping in, and that's what you need.
Oh,
it's not what you want; it's what you need.
Well,
to get there.
Yep, and even look at our quarterback. Levi Muckerhide's a sophomore. He just turned 16 years old a week ago. So it's one of those things that he's done a really good job from where he was a year ago. Again, you look back to where he was in January and the amount of work that kid has put in and week out in the weight room, in the classroom. He's, again, a kid that comes in and meets with me almost every morning during the week. Again, just trying to ask questions, trying to get a hone in on everything. And we ask a lot of him. But it's one of those things that he's able to kind of bear the load for us, and there's not very many 15, 16-year-olds that could operate the offense the way that we ask him to. But again, he's a sophomore, and that's a huge credit to a lot of those younger guys that have done a really good job for us.
Well, looking at your schedule, getting ready to hit a gauntlet. I mean, we're not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, you're getting ready to hit a gauntlet. Lawrenceburg up next, at Lawrenceburg.
That's home.
Oh, that is home?
Yep.
Okay, that's wrong then. Okay, home. Getting ready for that. Lawrenceburg, pretty tough. I mean, we can't sugarcoat that. I mean, they looked really good last weekend. They looked good last couple seasons. What are we doing to get ready for them?
Yeah, it's one of those things where obviously their quarterback, Crew Gilmore, is one of the best athletes in the conference. And we're going to expect to see him run the ball a lot. They've got some playmakers in space, obviously, with McGrath out at receiver. But it's one of those things that, historically they're a team that wants to, again, run a lot of gap scheme, but they've started sprinkling a little bit more zone this year just to allow their quarterback to run a little bit more, kind of split out into some more spread personnel sets than what they've done in the past, which is a lot more tight end wing-based sets, running a lot of power and counter. They still do that a little bit, but not as much. But it's got to be making sure that we contain Gilmore from being able to run the ball, and that's something that we've had to really hone in on as far as just making sure that we account for our gaps in the box. We can't let anything slip out of that. We've got to continue to maintain our physicality. That's something that we've continued to preach from day one, that our goal is to be the most physical team week in, week out. We've done a really good job, I think, over the last 3 weeks with our physicality, and just understanding, though, that that's a 4-quarter battle. We've continued to improve in that, but it's one of those things where we've got to be able to be physical for 4 quarters, and we've got to be able to shut down the run game.
I would argue that with the EIAC in football having as much talent as it's had consistently, I think it's forcing schools to change, especially offensively. Maybe not so much defensively, a little bit, but offensively, I think you're going to have to get more creative. You don't see the same old in that conference.
Yeah.
I just think it's too good. You can't.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be able to.
Well, you're even starting to see a shift more even towards some old school stuff, just because there's been a changing of the guard with older coordinators getting out of football and everything. Our conference, for years historically was a lot of pro formation, I formation sets, where it was heavy boxes, and you started to see everybody get away from that into the spread effect, where 90% of our conference was spread for a long period of time, and now you've started to see it trickle a little bit back the other way. But even outside of that, I would agree 100%. It's finding unique ways to, again, be able to still stump D coordinators, whether it's with tempo, whether it's with shifting and motioning, you're not just lining up in 2x2, 3x1 sets for an entire game and staying pat.
Right, and I'll argue too with the conference that tough, time of possession, like that's I don't have the stat. I'll look it up for our next show, but I would argue time of possession is probably the biggest thing in that conference. If we look at it, I mean, you can't afford to turn the ball over in a conference that talented. You just can't.
Yeah, you either have to do one of two things, and it's number one, focus on time of possession and really try to hone in on, being able to take off 6, 7, 8-minute drives, or you're going to go 100 miles an hour and your only purpose is to try to get 80 to 90 plays on offense. If you try to sit middle of the road, I think you're kind of dead to right at times anymore. But, again, there's a purpose for each offensive style with it. The guys that are running gun, like, we were for a few years when I was up there, we didn't care about time of possession. It was our benchmark was at least 80 plays of offense a game, but we also had things in place that were structured because of that. And, you don't see that as much anymore now in turn because of our personnel. We shift and trade a lot more. We take a lot of more motion into effect for us because we're still trying to take the same effect, but we also need the time of possession battle now. So I 100% agree with you. It's just a matter of how you're able to articulate that.
Troy, do you see from your side of the runners, do you see it getting better, like the competition in the conference?
Oh, yeah. I would say for sure. East Central, especially on the girls, they've been ranked in the state the last couple of years. They have a young lady, Callie Bentley, who has been all-state in cross-country and track. Batesville has an outstanding program. Lisa Gausman is the boys coach and girls coach, and, yeah, they're good. So Jeremy Bainey at South Dearborn, we've got a lot of the coaches have been there. This is my 25th year. A lot of those coaches have 10-plus years experience, and, you can tell when a coach has been there, established a program, they're going to be consistently good year in, year out.
Yeah, I think I said it on our preview show, either in our coaches show. I think the EIAC is probably the most underrated conference in Indiana. I know you watch what's the Fan Zone or whatever it is on Channel 8.
Oh, yeah.
And they're always up north and everything. But, if you want to see some good competition, competitive competition, I think it's right here. I think we're in the perfect spot where the talent's there, the competition's there, the schools are all top-notch facilities, and you're not dealing with a conference where you're worried about running at a bad school or playing on a bad field that's dry or holes or from the draining or anything. I think overall, the conference is definitely probably one of the most underrated in the state, in my opinion, if not the most underrated. So, all right, we're going to be right back. We're going to take a quick 3-minute break here, and we'll be right back with the Greensburg Show. We have the football coach, Isaac Sliger, here, and Coach Troy Davis. This has been Overtime, and we will be right back.
All right, Coach.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to Overtime. I'm your host, Nick Messer. Let's jump right back in here with Coach Troy Davis, Greensburg boys and girls cross country. County meet coming up. Let's hit on that for a little bit.
Yeah, sure. County meet is actually next week on Tuesday. The first race will be the boys' race at 5 o'clock, and that is at Greensburg this year. So it rotates around. So we're Greensburg's hosting at the Greensburg Elementary School. So if you drive back Big Blue and take a turn on Lehman Way, we'd love to see a big crowd out there. No admission. So a lot of meets have started charging some free admission to the county meet. That's also going to double as our senior night. So we're looking forward to recognizing our senior boys and getting them some recognition for 4 years of hard work.
Do you have a start time for senior night?
We don't. Approximately time. The boys' race will start at 5. The girls' race at 5:30, and senior recognition will probably be about 6 to 6:15. It'll just depend on how quickly we can get the meet scored and timed.
So hoping for lots of PRs that night.
Yes, yeah, we're hoping the weather cools off a little bit. It was almost 80 today. We cheated fate there for about 2 weeks, and it was nice to practice when it was 60s and 70s. So we're hoping it cools back off over the weekend.
Yeah, that was a discussion last week with Coach Fromer from South about how the temperatures have helped. They've been just perfect, really. Not too hot, not too cold. Now here we're going to hit a little warmer temperatures, which will impact.
Yeah, for us, we've raced the last 2 Saturdays, and the temperatures have been between 50 and 60, which is outstanding. No wind, calm, just perfect for racing.
Is that the ideal?
Pretty close. I like it a little cooler. The kids, you want to be able to warm up and have a good sweat going, but it was nice. It beat a couple years ago when we had to practice in the mornings because we couldn't practice outside because the heat index was 110 or whatever it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So
we've gotten lucky, but it's bounced back. We knew it would.
I know.
We knew it'd get, I wouldn't say real hot, but we knew it was going to get warmer again. So, Coach, back over to you, Coach Isaac Sliger, Greensburg football. Highlight a couple dates for you as well.
Yeah, we got homecoming coming up here on October 3rd against Batesville, and then our senior night's going to be October 17th against Rushville. It's be coming up quickly. We're about a month out from them, but again, we'll be on the road, kind of hit and miss here for a couple weeks in between that, but that'll be a nice ending point for us as we head into sectionals.
Yep, and fundraisers, we talked about this off air to let you guys get a little plug in here. You're still doing your pirate cards?
Yep, we're still selling pirate cards. They're discount cards to all local businesses in the community. We sell them for $15. It's got 15, 16 different companies that, again, are all local here in Greensburg. That, again, gives an opportunity to, go towards our program. 100% of the profits or revenue that go from this go directly to our program. We don't have to deal with any other outside company for that. It just helps our kids. But our kids are out and about with them. So, again, if you're interested, please feel free to reach out to one of our kids or myself.
Just find a player and
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So there you go. If you want to help support the Greensburg football team and the community, find a football player and get a pirate card.
Yep.
That's what they're called. Okay. Last week I threw out a hot take. We were talking, all of us, but Coach Martin and I from South Decatur, we were talking about IHSA and sectionals and regionals. And I said, you know what, we're going to throw this out the rest of the shows this month and just get some feedback. I suggested that maybe first round schools host, but after that, we shut down a significant amount of the schools. How fun would it be to go play at, say, a university or, Columbus North or Columbus East or some of these other schools that just don't get used, and then the host school doesn't have to worry about it. They don't have to worry about, the hospitality rooms. They don't have to worry about ticket takers. They can enjoy what they've earned, especially at regional and even semi-state in football. We're still dealing with host schools. Want to jump in on the hot take, or? I promise IHSA isn't listening.
I don't know. I'm always kind of a feel for more of the hometown portion behind it. I like that feel when you go travel somewhere, or if we're hosting any of that. The neutral site piece, maybe at a university type, I don't think that would be necessarily as bad. But I'm kind of more for the rivalry factor, just the extra edge as you can, kind of get into the playoffs a little bit more in your hometown crowds there, or vice versa. So
yeah,
that's just my take.
It is nice.
Yeah.
I've been there. It's nice if you're the host school.
Yeah.
But then when you start traveling, as Coach Davis and I were talking about, and you're on that bus ride for 2-3 hours, or Coach Davis, you guys go down
Yeah.
typically the night before.
Yeah, so the IHSA realigned cross country a couple years ago and eliminated the semi-state piece of the tournament series. So now there's sectional and regional, and then you qualify from regional to state. When that realigned, we actually go to Brown County, as you alluded to earlier, for our sectional, but we actually travel to Evansville for regional. So we typically leave. We've been very blessed to go the last couple of years and take either individuals or a team, but we'll leave Friday morning, right after lunch, right around noon. It's about 3 hours on a bus. We'll stop one time, let the kids stretch out a little bit, and we'll go straight to the facility at Angel Mounds State Park to run, stay in a hotel, have dinner catered in, which is nice. Again, the athletic department provides for all that for the kids, and it's a great experience. But if we're going to try to qualify for the state meet, I'd rather have my team sleeping in their own beds, not sleeping in a hotel room that some of those kids have never been away from the parents for a night, at least in a strange hotel with the kids. You know, we're doubling 2 or 3 high school kids in a room, and the kids have been great. We haven't had any behavior issues, but just that's a big change. And, oh, by the way, we're going to get up the next morning. I need you to run your best against some of the best competition in the state. So that is a complicating factor.
After sleeping in a hotel bed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and again, the hotels we've stayed in, you know, we try to find. We usually get a hallway, but last year when we went to Evansville, we had. There was a softball tournament, there was a family reunion, there was a wedding, and there was. I mean, it's a hotel. I mean, they're going to book it full, and the kids have responded pretty well. And we've always had solid performances, but I always, in my back of my mind, I'm like, I wonder how we'd have ran if we'd have just been able to get up, met on the bus, taken an hour drive, and competed. But
do you know if you guys are one of the furthest, probably?
Oh yeah,
the furthest.
Yeah, I'd have to check mileage wise, but I think we actually there are 5 semi-states, or pardon me, 5 regionals, and I think our drive to Evansville is the furthest. We could drive to any of the other 4 regionals, and actually it would be shorter on mileage to any of the other sites. But I know North and South Decatur are in the same boat. For whatever reason, Decatur County, when IHSA drew the map, Decatur County somehow got lodged in with Bartholomew County, and we all slide south to Evansville, as opposed to going to Shelbyville, which is also another host site that would be much more convenient.
Yeah, and of course football is a little different.
Yeah,
in the setup, even from say basketball, it's still a little different because basketball, once you get to regional, you're at a neutral site.
Well, and even for us being 3A, our sectional is basically our entire conference plus Purdue Polytech.
Right.
Take out obviously EC and Connersville being 4A, but for then whoever gets out of the sectional, our regional gets paired basically with that Scottsburg, Charlestown, Louisville area. So you're looking at about an hour and a half, hour 45 drive, which isn't any real difference from what you're looking at even with some of our conference, non-conference games.
Yeah.
So that's not anything out of the ordinary. Now, once you get onto the semi-state part, you may end up getting a little bit longer of a haul, but it's a little bit different for us. Now, again, when you look at more of the East Centrals of the world and some of that in this area, your drive can get a little bit more extensive out of that. I know, from the 4A, that sectional with Connersville, that generally feeds in closer to the Jasper, Evansville area a little bit more. But for us, at least, it's not like that situation, thankfully.
No, and volleyball, a little different, but they still a chance they travel. Basketball is going to travel.
Yeah.
But again, the EIAC football wise, everybody has beautiful facilities.
For the most part,
I mean, for the most part. I mean, I'm not going to say who on here, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Overall, most conferences don't have that, though.
No, I mean, I talked about it early on. Like, I would pair our pair our facilities when you look at the whole conference as one of the top couple. But even across the board, like you've seen over the last few years, Batesville's obviously done a lot of improvements with theirs. Franklin County's done a lot of improvements with theirs. Lawrenceburg redid their turf last year, actually, to kind of polish everything up. Our facilities have been completely redone over the last few years. Like, we're just constantly getting better and better. And it's, that's a credit to everybody from an administration standpoint, community standpoint down here.
But if they would do regional as neutral sites, you guys have the perfect facility to host.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that would be a great moneymaker.
Well, and even like we hosted an officials clinic this summer for one of our scrimmages, and all of the officials talked about, how if they can make that site moving forward, it's just we have great facilities. Historically, we really take good care of officials and, everybody else that's seated down there. And it's centrally located, too. It's an easy drive for a lot of people because of the interstate. No, it's a perfect blend of it.
Well, which is what we talked about off the air. If we could, in a perfect world, we'd keep everybody close to 74 or 65 the best we could, make it a little easier, but it's not. And it's tough. I mean, that's got to be tough scheduling all that. Do you guys do you get people that reach out and want to use the field for anything? Like youth football for tournaments?
So with our youth league, we've kind of changed some things over the last few years. It used to be where everybody was hosting at different sites every single Saturday, which, when you're a parent, you have a first or second grader and then a fifth and sixth grader or whatever else, you've got kids playing at multiple sites. It's not It's not a good situation for anybody involved. So we've actually been really proactive over the last couple years as a league, and basically now gotten to the point with expansion where we have 2 main sites, but all of our kids, if you're a Greensburg kid, you're playing at this site. You don't have to have 2-3 different locations because of grades. So we host at least once, if not twice, the entire year, and then everybody takes their turn with it. But we're relatively centrally located now with it. We've added a few with Trinity Lutheran. We ultimately also added Brown County and a few others in that mix too. So, there's a few drives that are around that hour 10 mark, but for the most part, we're still relatively centrally located, and especially for Greensburg, we're really the central mark, which is really nice.
Let's stay on that youth topic. Let's talk junior high, even youth football. Let's just hit on that for a little bit. How's that looking this year for those that aren't following them?
Yeah,
that's the future of you guys.
Absolutely. Our 7th and 8th grade lost last night, a close one, but over the last few weeks they've continued to improve. They won a few early on. I ended up tying against Rushville last week. But it's one of those that, our kids, we've continued to grow a little bit numbers-wise, which, that's a spot that we knew early on we were going to really have to continue to try to grow over the last few years, and that's been a main point. We've got some kids that have come out now for the first time in a little while. But we've got a new coaching staff down there that's done a really, really good job with Robbins, Brogan, Hadler, and then Middendorf. Those guys have really done a great job connecting with the kids.
Some younger staff, too.
Yes, younger staff with it also.
I love seeing that. I love seeing the younger staff that, especially the ones that come back and work their way up. I think that is, great for a program.
Yeah. And, when it comes to our youth league's had a lot of success so far. Our 5th and 6th grade has really done a good job over the last several weeks since we've got started. Our 3rd and 4th grade has been on fire as well. They're undefeated also with it. Our 1st and 2nd grade has done a really nice job also at the start. I think we've lost one and tied one out of it. But altogether, our numbers are up across the board. We're continuing to improve. And it's one of those things that as we continue to progress, we just want to, again, be able to build the program there first. And that's, again, one of the things that we set out to do first and foremost. We wanted to make sure that we got guys in charge down there that are committed to the kids and try to make it so that we're retaining kids as well. And obviously being able to have success helps that.
Troy, how's your
junior high? Actually, both teams qualify for the state meet this week. So junior high is a little different. You have to hit a certain qualifying mark. So the kids actually, we had the whole program at Columbus North. So the high school ran early. We ran at 9, 9:30, and 10, and then the junior high raced. I want to congratulate Maria Sholey. She set the school record. Ran 10:39, broke the school record for her, which was set by Brenner Hanna. Which, if you know Brenner Hanna's name, she was a 4-time state qualifier for us and ran at IU. So that's an awesome achievement. We had several boys that broke the 12-minute mark. My daughter moved into the top 10. Hadley Davis ran 11:42. Moved in the top 10 in school history. And both, like I said, Coach Neese and Coach Gout do a great job. Kathy was a former athlete of mine, Kathy Newhart. She ran 4 years at Marion, came back and is second year with the staff. Dale Galk is a great runner, a great role model for the kids down there. And they've got 11 boys and 9 girls, so really excited about the up-and-coming teams. And just want to say congratulations because both teams made it and qualified, hit the marks for making the state meet coming up here in about October.
That's
so
really
excited.
I love when the young teams get those accolades. At some point, I'd love to have them on here. A couple of those younger players. I'd love to put them on here. But and for those of you listening, next month we are going to start bringing runners, players. Looking like probably next month. After that, we'll flip over to winter sports, I think. So we'll have one more Greensburg show with you guys. But so those of you listening, we'll have players on here and runners, and hopefully we can get the other coaches in here. I'd love to highlight some of their players on air too. And I know a lot of them had games tonight, so it makes it hard. It's hard to be everywhere at once and run your program. I mean, coming in here straight from practices, and Troy ran here. He's gonna run home. All right, Coach Davis, you got something?
No, I just wanted to say thanks for giving the airtime and recognition of the program to the kids. So I appreciate that. I know you're busy too, man. We all have what I call the real job. My fun job starts at 3:00 every day, 3 to 5:30. I get to go work with high school kids, help them get better, help them learn about life and competing. But appreciate the time you take out of your schedule to make
you're
make
welcome.
time for our
And,
programs.
I really like the direction that WTRE is going, trying to not put the community back, but rally the community around our high school sports. I know the views are slow, but this is a really good thing, especially once we start getting athletes on here and start highlighting them, because for some, it's probably it. It's probably the end of the show for some of the seniors, and so to give them just an opportunity to come on here and speak is what our goal is ultimately. So we'll look forward to that next month. Of course, the Greensburg show is second Wednesday next month. So with that, we'll start with Coach Sliger, and we'll hit the final take.
Just again, reiterate what he said. Thank you. Being able to highlight our kids and just, being able to give back to the community this way. But no, like what I've continued to say, just want to thank our community for continuing to show out and supporting our kids. It's not easy what our kids are doing, but they're continuing to improve week in, week out, and they're doing something that it's unforeseen territory. And again, as a 15 to 18-year-old kid being tasked with that challenge, day in, day out, it's something that even going into adult lives, it's something that we as adults struggle with from time to time. But it's something that they've continued to hone in on and continued to, chip away at, and we're going to get it. We're going to get it together. And I just want to thank the community for continuing to show out, and appreciate as well our staff at the school and our student body at the school. Again, the hallways are a lot different, and you can tell that there is support behind it, both from kids and adults. So I just want to send that appreciation as well.
Coach Davis, final take.
Just want to mention again the county meet coming up next week on Tuesday. We also host the Greensburg Invitational on October the 2nd. That start time will be 5:30 with the boys race and about 6:10 for the girls race. We have 15 to 20 schools coming. I don't have the list in front of me, but we've got schools from the Indianapolis area, conference schools, I'll say it that way, North and South Decatur, a lot of local schools there to be able to compete. So if you have a niece or nephew or somebody in the community you want to come out and support, we'd love to have you out there. Again, that is October 2nd, the Greensburg Invitational.
All right, coaches, I appreciate it. Coach Sliger, I see what you're doing. As a coach, I appreciate it. That program's gonna get there.
Thank you.
It's gonna get there. So community, keep backing him. It's gonna get there. Coach Davis, as always, keep running.
Just give me some space on the road, man. When you pass me going home, don't swerve at me.
Give you some space. Put your reflectors on next time.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Let's get your take. What's your take on Goggins, David Goggins? Let's get a hot take on that one.
I've never actually listened to a podcast of his or read his book. My kids will quote him all the time. We just got to make sure they quote him.
Mine too.
They need to quote him school appropriately, is what I would say.
I don't think he is, though.
No, he is not. They have to have very short and succinct quotes from David Goggins. So I like his intensity. I like his fire, but we got to work on the language. We got to keep it school appropriate. PG for the kids.
I agree. All right, coaches, thank you. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time for the Greensburg Show. I'm your host, Nick Messer, and this has been Overtime.